Chris Piehota here. Let's talk about the dismissal of charges against James Comey and Letitia James. Very quickly, I have a few talking points, but very quickly, James Comey was charged with making false statements to Congress and obstructing congressional proceedings. And Letitia James was indicted on one count of bank fraud and one count of making false statements to a financial institution. So that's what we got going on right there. And this week, a federal judge dismissed the charges based upon what was considered to be a defect in the appointment of the interim U.S. attorney. Her name was Lindsay Halligan. The judge dismissed the cases without prejudice, meaning the government could bring the cases back. This was a clown show on behalf of the Department of Justice. Now, let's cover a few items here and talk about how this could have been done a little bit better. I'm a former FBI agent. I can speak with some insight into some of these matters. And I'm telling you that this dismissal was completely avoidable. So all they had to do was get somebody, another U.S. attorney from another neighboring district, to co-sign the documents with Miss Halligan, and the cases probably wouldn't have been dismissed. She was the sole signator and sole architect of these indictments, and they were thrown out or dismissed. So are we looking at a balance here between ineptitude and evil? So we have Pam Bondi right here talking about DOJ moving forward with an appeal.
If I could just get your reaction to the James Comey, Letitia James cases being dropped today. Back in Washington, James Comey put out a video. He said this matters most because a message has to be sent. The President of the United States could not use the Department of Justice to target his political enemies. Your reaction to the cases being dropped into that specific message?
Sure, we'll be taking all available legal action, including an immediate appeal to hold Letitia James and James Comey accountable for their unlawful conduct.
What is your reaction to his statement?
I'm going to keep going on this. I'm not worried about someone who has been charged with a very serious crime.
Couple of items. I talked about balancing ineptitude versus evil. Some things to consider. Was this a just absolute clown show of ineptitude by the Department of Justice? We had inconsistent information management and process management. I think there were some staff failures here as well. The staff at the Eastern District of Virginia let Lindsay Halligan down. They knew how to do this, and they decided to let her fail. The Department of Justice didn't provide adequate support or direction for the Eastern District, and again, left Lindsay Halligan to fend for herself with what may have been a hostile staff, if not just an indifferent staff, or a staff with still a good number of ideological holdovers from the past administration, where they're willing to let process fouls and procedural or administrative shortfalls scuttle cases like this that they don't agree with. And those people have to be identified and maybe excused from their current duties. Did the administration set Lindsay Halligan up to fail? You have to ask the question. She was put in this role. She must be loyal to the president, but she didn't have the prosecutorial background to cover this type of legal protocol procedure. She didn't have the background to be a credible prosecutor to the courts. So again, I'm not sure what the administration was thinking here. And the amount of, again, I said process fouls, procedural shortfalls, the staff under Lindsay Halligan let her fail. Let her fail. There's some insurgent thought process that allowed this to happen. So DOJ plans to appeal. Great. In order to do that, I think they have a couple of areas they have to immediately cover. One, they got to have a new lawfully appointed prosecutor. that will not be questioned in terms of their legitimacy or their prosecutorial background. 2, we got to look at a clean grand jury process to make sure none of the previous grand jury information management shortfalls are brought back around. And in the third area, the administration and Department of Justice have to work to insulate any future activity from the appearance of political or vindictive prosecution. That is the primary defense from the defendants, that this is a malicious, vindictive prosecution. Any new charges, they have to be brought under standard procedures by that recognized, reputable prosecutor. Embarrassing for the administration. They got to do better. The chief executive, the president of the United States, has to have a huddle with his DOJ team and figure out how they're going to do this moving forward. Can't have any more of these failures. Can't have any more of these type of screw-ups based upon process and protocol and administrative requirements. The Department of Justice has to get its act together. And if they're going to do these type of things moving forward, they have to make sure that they're done in a proper way, in line with legal process, legal authority, and objective application of the law.